Hello, fellow learners. Welcome to Maths Bridge. I hope you are all doing good. Thanks for joining with us. We shall continue our learning journey in C programming. Guys, keep up your motivation energy levels to learn new things every day. Without further delay, let's get into today's topic. Shall we? Folks, please do visit us at our YouTube channel, Maths Bridge. I'm sure I think you are already subscribed to the channel. If you have not, please do subscribe the channel and then support us. Thank you and then happy learning. Here is our today's agenda. In a passage of a text, individual words and punctuations marks, called as a tokens, right? Similarly, in C programming language, the smallest individual, the element of C program that is meaningful to the compiler is known as a token. That is what meaning by token. A token is the smallest element of C program that is meaningful to the compiler. From the complete program, each and every word can be considered as a token. So each token needs to be processed so that finally, you could get the, generated output from that, compilation and execution process. Right. So how the compiler actually understand these tokens and then how you have to classify the tokens is what we are trying to, describe, discuss in this context. So we have a keywords, identifiers, constants, strings, operators, special symbols. These are all called as a tokens. In C context, you can call it as a C tokens. Keywords means like a reserved words for the C, right? And integer character while for this short. When I say identifier, the name given to the variable, right? The variable name is called an identifier. Based out of the data that you are storing, you will have a descriptive name for that identification. For instance, like a pi, num, marks, amount, salary, things like that. But in your program, there are the instances where we need to actually use a constant, like a whole number or the decimal number, positive number, negative number, and all in the entire program lifecycle. So these are called constants. Constants values remains constants. We are not going to change them. Okay. Now strings. What is meant by strings? Strings means like the group of characters enclosed by the double quotes is called strings. There is a need of actually using these kind of a information to handle in C, called as a C tokens or the strings. Strings basically handle in C using like a character array, which we can discuss a little later. There are the operators. Operators means like arithmetic logical operations can be performed. So we requires a plus for addition, and multiplication is like a star, plus plus is like an increment, minus minus is a decrement, things like that. There are the special symbols like a square bracket or flower brackets. These are also you can consider as, these are all known as a C tokens. Tokens are a smallest building blocks in a program that the compiler understands. Every word in C source code can be considered as a token. Each token in C serves a specific purpose in the context and semantics of C. Got it? It's very general concept. I think you just understand, like each and everything within the C program is called as a token, and then you have to just understand how the tokens are classified versus like how compiler understand these tokens and then process them accordingly to generate high-level language program into a machine level language program, which is where we're gonna see that exe file which runs on the actual hardware to produce the output. I have captured here like the bit of notes. This is like a very self-explanatory, and you could actually just refer it. Keywords are the explicitly reserved words that have fixed and a definite meaning, and their sense cannot be changed or modified, because keywords cannot be used as a names or variables in your program because it has its own purpose in C programming. Identifiers on the other hand is a kind of a unique variable name Identifiers can be a short names like A, B, C, or descriptive names like a total, sum, area. A recommendation always to use the descriptive names, which we discussed. Constants, are the fixed values that do not change during the execution of the program. Constant is a keyword that you use to the variable if at all the variable becomes like a wanted to be having like a read only unchanged kind of a nature. Whereas a strings, now a sequence of characters as words or text, is what we refer as a strings. In case of operators, we have a arithmetic operator, assignment operation, comparison, logical, bitwise, and these are all kind of like operators. Operators are used to perform operations on operands, right? This is a standard definition. Special symbols, we talk about it. Here are the ANSI keywords. I'm sure, I think you one way or other going to use all of them in your C programming. Auto, break, case, char, constant, continue, default, do, double, else, enum, extend, float, for, go to, if, int, long, register, return, short, signed, size of, static, struct, switch, typed up, union, unsigned, void, volatile, while. So every C word is classified as either a keyword or an identifier. All the keywords have a fixed meaning. Okay, these meanings cannot be changed. So that's why these are very important. Each one, how you're going to interpret, and then how you're going to use it in your programming is very essential for an individual to understand. It is very simple, but you just need to know the concept, how you're gonna refer them for your programming practices. So keywords are basic building blocks for a program statements. Makes more sounded clear concept. Based on the data that you are going to store, the data types are actually classified as a fundamental data types is called a built-in data types, and the derived data types and user-defined data types. When it comes to the primitive or the fundamental, we have a integral, void, and floating. Integral means like integer and char are called as like an integral part, and a float means we have a float, simple float, double, long double is under float, because this is where we are using like all the decimal, mantissa and exponential sort of a number is what we gonna you know uh, we use like a float to store such a kind of numbers is what I was trying to say it here. Okay, we have a derived types like an array, character array, functions, pointers. These are all called a derived data types. We do have like an user defined data types like a type depths, enums, struct or union. These are also are the data types. So having this all data types like a int, char, float, double, long, arrays, structure, union, enum, type def. There is one more modifier is called as a signed, unsigned, long, short. These can be added to all these data types. This is how your data type set can be constructed. A data types are used to tell the variable the type of data that it can store. Whenever a variable is defined in C, the compiler allocates some memory so that a variable based on the data type with which it is declared. Every data type requires a different amount of memory. Make a point, this is integer may have like 4 bytes, character maybe requires like 1 byte, float maybe 4 bytes, double maybe 8 bytes, long double is like a 10 bytes. Like each and every data type, when I say like this is what my type of the data that I'm going to store, then you have to see understand like what sort of the memory that is going to be allocated for that type of variable. That's what we are saying. Okay, memory usage and all depends upon like what type of data type that you are going to declare in your program is matters. Okay, and we have one more special data type is called a void. Void means no value. So what we are going to use it, right? We are used to specify these type of functions. The type of function is set to be void when it does not return any value to the calling function, right? Mostly when you write a functions, you will see that whether the function gonna return anything back or not. Based out of that, you can see return type is void if you are not returning anything. Got it? If you already gone through like in a computer architecture basic fundamentals, then you would end up knowing that for sure. I think all these concepts must be easy. But otherwise, just a recap of like how a typically like architecture of computer looks like, right? We have a hardware, and then memory, CPU, and then input device and output device all get connected to it, right? This is how you see that. So you have a 16-bit microprocessor, you have a 8-bit microprocessor, you have 32-bit microprocessor and all. This is what I think we can call it as like a 16-bit machine or 32-bit machines and all. So typically the size of C data type which we captured here when we are using like a 16-bit compiler versus like a machine. Okay, these are like in sizes. When I say byte means like 8 bits. Okay, so character means 1 byte, unsigned char is 1, signed char 1, int 4 bytes, unsigned int 4 bytes, signed int 4, unsigned short int 2, signed short int 2, long int 4, unsigned long int, signed long int, and float is a kind of 4. Double means like 8, long byte is like 10 bytes. So 1 byte, 1 into 8, 8 bits, right? 4 into 8, 32 bits. 8 into 8, 64 bits double. Bits. Long double means 10 into 8, 80 bits is what you require to store a long double value. So you see, you can imagine like, how what sort of memory, that is required for actually storing all these sort of, variables. Understanding memory organization in C program is kind of like important topic which we discussed in I think very first session. You just go back and refer it. But any program that you wrote it like based out of the variable where you are actually declaring them, whether it is a global variable, whether it's a initialized variable, uninitialized variable, or the local variable. If so, what type of variable that is? It is a simple data type like a local, or is a pointer, or a dynamic memory, allocation. Based out of that type of variable and then place where you are actually declaring or assigning that variable, and then the memory is going to be consumed accordingly. So architecture of the memory is one of the important concept that one should have to understand, so that like you can promptly enjoy more of writing a program and then feel like you are really what you can call it as like working on the machine. Okay, this is a lovely concept, and then everyone must have to understand the C programming for sure. I highly recommend you to learn C programming thoroughly, so that you can learn any other program for sure, guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe, click on bell icon, and leave the comments. Happy learning. Thank you. Stay tuned to upcoming sessions.